Hey guys, this is my review on the Keychron Q2 custom mechanical keyboard. Now, if you've seen my Q1 video, then you know that that was a board that I could not recommend given all the issues, at least with the first version of the Q1 that was released, which was the one that I bought at the time. I also heard that they made improvements in the later revisions of the Q1, but personally, I have not tried those out yet. Anyways, this video is on the Q2, and I gotta say, straight out of the box, it has everything that the early version of the Q1 should have had in its design, and yes, I can recommend the Q2. Let me show you why. First, I'm going to go through the contents of my creator's review package quickly so we can get to talking about the actual Q2 keyboard itself. Here, they did send me a resin smoky black 65% sized wrist rest, really good quality, and I can actually use this. Then there are a couple sets of Gateron G Pro Linear Red and G Pro Clicky Blue switches that can be bought as optional accessories when purchasing the Q2 on Keychron's website. The Gateron G Pro switches have a white opaque bottom housing with clear transparent top housing, which will be great for LEDs as the Q series PCB do support RGB. And finally, there are some Christmas themed OEM profile keycaps made out of dice up PBT. The creator's package was sent out around the holiday season last month, so this made sense. Personal opinion, these are like ugly Christmas sweaters in keycap form, not really my style. All of the mentioned accessories I just covered can be bought separately on Keychron's website, so you do have some options to personalize your Q2. Okay, now let's talk about the actual keyboard. At the time of filming, Q2 price ranges between $149 to $179 US depending on your configuration, from the bare bones to fully assembled, and whether you want a knob version or not. This keyboard is also compatible with Windows or Mac with a simple toggle switch located next to the USB port. Q2 is QMK and VIA compatible, so you'll definitely want to download the software from caniusevia.com for all your key switch remapping and macros. The unit sent to me was the knob version, and by default, it's programmed to volume control. Pretty smooth with a satisfying press, and you can program it to other functions with VIA if you want. In the box, you get a USB-C to C cable that also has a USB-A adapter on one end. It's also not coiled or have an aviator connector like the Q1. I already know some people may not like this change, but personally, it doesn't bother me. Still a good quality cable. The building process for the Q2 is the same as the Q1. There's 8 screws holding the top and bottom case together, and it's pretty solid. Surface finish and colors are just as good as the Q1, really smooth and nicely done. When the bottom case is opened, you'll find a light foam layer as well as a thin plastic film for electrostatic protection that prevents the Hotswap pads or switch pins from touching the bottom case. This is especially important as the double-sided foam gasket mounting style on the plate gives a lot of flex. It is also important to know that this degree of flexing only happens if you press down hard, but during a normal typing session, it doesn't sink this low. When removing the top case, you'll have to disconnect the JST cable from the PCB. Unfasten and remove the USB-C daughter board carefully as you do not want to accidentally break the fragile OS toggle switch. Additionally, you will also want to remove the knob as well before you can separate the top case from the PCB and plate. The PCB and steel plate are held together by 6 screws. Once removed, you'll also find a sound dampening foam layer in between that can be removed if you choose. In my build, I kept it in. The PCB also has factory lubed screw-in stabilizers that do have rattling as you may expect from any mass-produced entry-level keyboard. I personally removed these, cleaned them out, and manually lubed them myself with BDZ grease for the wires and Krytox 205 grade 0 for the inserts. I also added Band-Aid mod to the PCB as well to prevent the stabilizer stems from hitting the PCB. Here's a quick sound test before and after. Before moving on to the next part, I want to talk about keycap interference with the keyboard case, something that the early Q1 keyboards that had issues with when using larger profile keycaps like MT3 and CAT. The Q2 fixed that with larger cutouts on the top case, and I personally have tested different keycap profiles to confirm, including OEM, Cherry, CAT, and partially MT3, only because my MT3 set did not have a few keycaps that cover a 65% layout. But I do want to say confidently, this most likely won't be a problem. Also, if this matters to any of you, fully assembled Q2 weighs in at around 1.5 kilograms or about 3.3 pounds. Now, coming up for the typing test, I personally use 67-gram tangerines that were already lubed and filmed for a smoother build instead of the stock Gateron G Pro switches. As for the keycaps, I went with GMK Bleach for combo aesthetics and also because GMK sets are basically the most commonly used for sound tests and will serve as a good reference. Additionally, I also did the Tempest tape mod for comparison versus without to see how it changes the sound profile. Just a heads up, tape mod makes it sound deeper, less clacky, and more like a PE foam. Okay, so I understand that this is an entry-level custom keyboard and some people may not be able to or want to drop $150 to over $200 on a GMK keycap set, which can literally cost more than the keyboard itself. And when it comes to mods, let's say for example switches, some people may not know how to or don't want to go through the lubing process. And if you just want to go through the easy route, just buy some cheap keycaps or cheap more budget-friendly switches and just plug and play and be done with it, then here is a sound test that you can expect. Honestly, it doesn't sound that great, but you get what you put in. And most of all, what is considered acceptable to each person is subjective. As long as you're happy with what you want, then that's all that matters. Okay, in conclusion, the Q2 maintains the Q1's or improved Q1's design in a smaller form factor. It fixes all the flaws. There's little to no pingy or hollowness in the sound. There's no keycap interference. There's a flexible typing experience. It's a good price for an entry-level custom keyboard and does not need any mods, or at least just the stabilizers in my opinion. This is probably the best and most solid entry-level 65% custom keyboard that I can recommend. All right, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say for the Keychron Q2. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thumbs and subs for more keyboard videos from me. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.